Hi everyone. I want to return this week to talking about crazy lesser-known video games. So where better to look than Japan? I have 5 games here that will easily illustrate that if you want to go off the handle, no one does it from further left field than Japan. The order will be ascending in madness until we end up at number 1, where we will all have to double check if what we just saw is real or from an alternate dimension. Number 5. Right, no messing about. Let's start with Wall Street. Made in 1982 by Century Electronics. If you are imagining a video game based on the successful movie starring Michael Douglas or a boring stockbroker simulator, you couldn't be more wrong. Wall Street is split into 2 recurring stages. Stage 1 consists of the player controlling 2 rescue workers who must prevent stockbrokers, who are throwing themselves from tall buildings, plummeting to their deaths and instead bounce them into a waiting ambulance. Dark, right? Stage 2 entails controlling a broker who runs around town collecting money, which they must return to the yellow base, while being chased by tanks, which the player can shoot. Would you like a more developed story? Bad luck, that's it. How do you win or complete it? You don't. I guess no one truly wins if you are chasing money on Wall Street, especially when there are tanks in the streets. Number 4. Mr. Mosquito is a third-person action shooter developed by Zoom Incorporated for the PlayStation 2 in 2001. You control Mr. Mosquito, an uninvited guest in the Yamada family home. In order to store up enough food for the winter, you must drink as much of their precious blood as possible while they are in bed, talking on the phone, watching TV, or even in the bath. The Yamadas know you are in the house and have plans to take you out. Deadly insecticides fill the air, and they have the ability to crush you like the bug you are. You are also tasked with sucking blood from specific body parts of the family members without being noticed. If you are not careful, the human will become stressed and eventually attack. Sucking too fast or too slow will also increase the victim's stress levels. Although it is a strange concept to start with, for me, the bath scene is just too cheeky for its own good. Number 3. Okay, let's get weirder. The awfulness of the Japanese-only NES title Takashis Challenge is legendary. So let's take a look at a game which is commonly regarded as the worst game ever. Takashi no Chenjo, officially translated as the Ultimate Challenge from Beat Takashi and popularly known as Takashi's Challenge, is a 1986 Japanese action-adventure video game developed by Nova and published by Taito for the Famicom, known internationally as the Nintendo Entertainment System. The game was designed by entertainer, actor and director Takashi Kitano and is centered on a salaryman who seeks a treasure on a remote island in the South Seas. Before we unravel that concept, I must give you a little background information on Takashi Kitano himself, as he is famous for lots of very different reasons. Imagine if Chris Tarrant had made and starred in violent hard-hitting gangster movies whilst writing a column in the newspaper, all while appearing regularly on TV as a game show host and comedian. Yeah, Takashi is quite a guy. If you've come across either Takashi's Castle or Boiling Point, you would have 2 very different ideas of him. Takashi no Chenjo is presented as a side-scrolling action game. The narrative progresses according to the player's choices, akin to an adventure game, making the game an example of an action-adventure. Shooter elements are also included in certain areas. The player controls a poor salaryman within an urban and decadent Japanese landscape, in which he is often attacked by hostile yakuza. Health can only be restored by either drinking tequila at a bar in Japan or sleeping at a hotel on Hintabo Island. Although the salaryman can be revived upon depletion of his health if the player simultaneously taps the A and B buttons 3 times in quick succession. The salaryman can receive money by beating up pedestrians or completing certain objectives. The game's plot is initiated when the salaryman receives a treasure map. Before he can begin the search for the treasure, the salaryman must prepare by beating up the old man who gave him the map, divorcing his wife, resigning from his job, and acquiring various skills at the culture center. If these conditions are not met before the salaryman goes to Hintabo Island, his wife or company president will suddenly appear and forcibly repatriate him to Japan, or the treasure will be intercepted by the old man, who had followed the salaryman, resulting in a game over. The game incorporates the microphone function of a second controller in various situations, primarily in the karaoke bar. In one stage, The salaryman must hang glide from Hintabo Island to the island of the hidden treasure while firing bullets at incoming birds and UFOs. The salaryman can only ascend using gusts of wind and can only fire one bullet at a time, and crashing into a single enemy results in a game over. The game uses a password-based save system, a common method for game saves at the time. The player can be taken to the final stage of the game if the salaryman throws 30,720 punches on the title screen. Confused? You should be. Number 2. Nearly there. Let's ramp it up a bit. Chooniki Zero, Muscle Brothers is a horizontal scrolling shoot-'em-up, and the latest console game in the Chooniki series. It was published in Japan by Gung Ho Works in 2009 for the PlayStation Portable. The game gives players the chance to take part in an epic struggle alongside heroes Ida 10 and Ben 10, as they blast through the muscle-bound forces of Emperor Balzac II. As you can see, it is incredibly macho camp. Playing Chooniki is a journey through a long, bizarre fruity dream, featuring recurring characters such as Adon and Samson, a pair of muscle-bound bodybuilders with holes in their heads that they shoot bullets out of, and Adam, a giant naked man in a saucer that looks like a moon. Most of the games have not been released outside of Japan, though a few of the games are now available through download services. I guess it's not too difficult to understand why. The gameplay is not world-beating, but it's nuttier than Mr. Peanut's posing pouch. So, that has to count for something. Number 1. Well. Brace yourself for this one. I don't really know what to say, so let me just show you. Yep, that's right. Bunga Bunga, sometimes advertised in English as Spankum, is an arcade game developed by TAF System. It is the first arcade game to simulate kancho, a popular prank in Japan and Korea where the victim is poked with 2 fingers in the bum whilst distracted. The object of Bunga Bunga is to score points by spanking, or performing kancho on a model of a human posterior embedded in the game's cabinet. A plastic finger is attached to the machine for players to perform the latter. The game features many characters players can punish, including ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, gangster, mother-in-law, gold digger, and con artist. During gameplay, the facial expression of the chosen character is displayed on a monitor. The game also dispenses cards that rate players, and for players who perform exceptionally well the machine will dispense a small plastic trophy in the shape of a pile of poo. Can you imagine seeing this cabinet in the local arcade? It would have to be behind a curtain. So, there you have it. 5 crazy games from Japan. Before I go, I want to balance the scales. We have had some pretty mad games over the years. Check these out. Please let me know in the comments if you know any crazy Japanese games I've missed. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.